Hello everyone, it's good to see you all again. I see a lot of old faces back again every year. For my summer I'm going to teach some arm locks, but not just arm locks. A lot of people have a misconception. They think that arm locks don't work, and they think they don't work because they're looking at them as a static point. So if you have somebody who's strong, let's say, come here for a minute, Mike. And if I wanted to do an arm lock on him, and he holds his arm and he's not letting me have it, of course the arm lock's not going to work. I got a lot of video footage out there on YouTube, and some people go, that won't work on me. Well, the idea of the arm locks is you're supposed to go with the energy. That means that if he's coming to punch me, and I happen to go and try to take this into a straight arm bar, and he's pulling it back, I have to come back on a forward to redirect him. I'll bring him back for the camera here. If I want, let's say he came to punch me, and I sort of popped around and punched him in the face, pulled his arm, I could take it into a straight arm bar. It'd be easy. Actually, I cheat a bit. So I'm not so strong. So I hook this to my leg, and I use my leg to stretch it out, take his center of gravity away. Now, if I'm over here, and I'm trying to do an arm lock like this, of course, it's never going to work. It might be good for a picture. So we want to cover a lot of points here with this arm lock. And what I like to do is get some people up here to show a finer exercise to develop the ability to go with somebody's energy. So come on up here, and we'll, come on, Alan, you can come up here. Jason, come up here. What you're going to do, the first exercise, what you're going to do is just have this here like this. If he comes to punch you, you just go with his energy. If he pulls his arm back, you go with his energy. So I just want you to pair off. So let's say he comes to punch me, and I go with his energy. If his arm comes back, I go back with his energy. Just pair off and play with that a bit, please. You want to get somebody out there? Yeah. No? Okay, you can just watch these guys. Okay, from here, this stance is sort of, when he comes, you go with your butt, come hard, like, so I go with this. If he's pulling back, because he pulls back, I'm going to go, but instead of going with it with my arm, okay, I'll get an important point here. When he comes to punch, and I go with his energy, I could take his straight arm. If he pulled it back before, I go like, but I don't go like this and let my arm go back with him, what some people will do because you don't know any better. The thing is, if I go back with him, that allows him to come around and take my arm in return. So it's going to teach you sort of the advance of succession here. So the idea is don't let your arm go back so much like this. Sorry if I didn't make it clear. When he comes to punch, my body moves back. If he pulls back, my body moves forward. If my body moves forward, he doesn't have the ability to come around me. Now, if he does come around with this side, since this side is connected, these shoulders are connected, when I pull this shoulder back, it pulls that other arm back out again. Right? So we'll just, as you're playing around, he'll come to punch. I like to take the straight arm. If you're good and fast, you can do it good. Spread it his center of gravity way. He can't have it. If I want to take him straight out to the ground, I can take him straight out to the ground. Everything's great. Now, if I didn't take him straight out to the ground that way, come here, Copley, for a minute. My guys are a bit more squirrely. They won't let me get away with certain things. If I tried to take him to the ground like this, and his body weight's underneath here, we're going to be wrestling. We're going to be fighting. The idea is if you have his arm straight and you're going to take him to the ground, you have to extend him away from his center of gravity in this position here. The other thing I'm keeping his arm facing this way. It's an important thing here. Because if his arm is here, he can go up like that and start finishing fighting you again. The idea is once I extend him out and I put his arm this way, he can't roll over. Physically, he can't. It's not going to happen. Here, he can, just because of the shoulder bone, right? So if you're coming back for your arm locks again, you can come back from the arm locks here or here. You can come back around, come for the wrist as well. So we'll pair off again. I just want you to, there's a few finer points That's the problem. When people see stuff on video, they think, oh, that won't work with me. Well, of course it won't work if somebody's not continuing with the energy. The idea is you're going with somebody's energy and redirecting it. If you move your body in the right position, it makes it very easy. Let's continue playing around a bit. If anybody else wants to come out, please do so. So since you're pulling, it allows him to fight. You see? When he comes to punch, and I go with his energy, I'm perfect. Boom, it's done. And now when he comes to punch, and I pull him, all of a sudden he becomes strong. And when he becomes strong, that means when I go this way, he's coming around me. If you're fighting, you're going to come around me, right? You see? I don't want to, if I ever pull somebody, he's going to pull back. So you have to have a sensitivity. When he comes to punch, I extend this out. This is done. He's popped here with my chest. If I have Mike, it's a bit different. He's a big guy, fairly strong. When he comes to punch, if ever I grab him tight, he's already fighting me. He lifts weights, the strength training, all this stuff. So when he comes to punch, I have to come good and have this elbow. Now, with the arm lock, the basic straight arm lock, you have to have pressure here. Instead of me putting pressure with my arm, I stretch him across. If I pull this, he's going to walk around with his energy and counter me. If I pull him down this way, he'll fall down and take me with him. And I really don't want to do that. So what you have to do is make the shoulder stationary, the wrist stationary, and just use your center mass to apply that pressure. Some people, what they'll do is if I'm pulling pressure across this way, they'll bend their elbow upwards like this to try to stop me. I can pull down, it won't work. So if this happens, I have to stretch across again, attach it to my leg. Because if I stretch out with my leg, he has to be completely reliant on my body weight. I never want to lean my body weight on him. He's mine. Now, if I sit down, he might have a chance of countering me. So I stretch him away from his center of gravity. If I stretch him away from his center of gravity, there's nothing he can do from here. So this is a few more points here we want to get in. So carry on, and as these guys do, I'll find mistakes, and we'll just add to it. Yeah. So watch this. Yes. Just push me, and that's all. He pushes me, I go here, right? So when I go here, now if I put my hands up and I go here, I don't have it here. I just turn so I can take this button. It's done here. You can feel this? Yeah. If he could be strong enough, we can. If I was here, he pulled me down. Oh, come up behind. Then in here again, right? So there'll be more. So keep playing with that. Well, add that one up to the point. Okay, you guys, what are you doing? Standing around. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. We're going to try to make a rush course because luckily this is being videoed, and I'm sure people will be able to have access to get copies of the video. Here what we're doing is, I'll take Jason again. As he comes to punch, and I come like this, his arm is already fighting this. Fight it. And as he, yeah, but I can take his center. He's not fighting it very strong. If he fights it very strong, then I have to come back to him, right? Then there's what we call a distractor. You just give him, if he has resistance here, you give him a little shot there, and it comes back out here. I don't have the arm lock. As soon as this goes to my leg, he's done. By the way, I stopped his leg from coming and walking around me. It's very important in this position. If I was like this and he's pulling down, I step around, putting this behind his back and taking his center off this position here, coming down again. Anytime you want, if you want to come back around to sit down and crank up his arm, if you want to do the arm here, pop on your leg or take his wrist. It should be all easy. You just have to learn to go with somebody's resistance, right? What's your name? Travis, come on down. Come on down, Travis. Travis comes to punch. As he comes to punch, and I went with his energy. Now you felt how that felt, and see where I am. Now come to punch, and I go like this. See how you want to fight me? Yeah. Okay. This is bad for you, but just because his body position is really sad here. So if he comes to punch, and I go with that energy, and I took him in this tripod here because his space, his distance allowed me to have this point. Since he has all this space to try to come up inside of me, you have to take him in that position down. From this position, if I want to continue elbowing him, if he bent his arm on me this way, is another good point. You take this up and you put it this way. You all right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There you go. Everything that you do, if you're coming to punch, and let's say I'm not so good, and he's all ready to fight, his next punch comes, a bit harder. But fast, fast, fast. From here, I come back again here. I always put my leg out here. I want to take him. It's good. His knee, it's good. I don't train with him, it's good. That's good, okay? But I don't really need this because I pull this out again here. Again, I'm going to pop this arm here. He's just getting ready to see how far I want to go, right? See how here you could roll over if you got up on your knees? Right, now roll back over for me. Now do that again. Yeah. So if you put that arm up there, it will stop them from rolling around again. So, yeah. Play around. If anybody, come up with something different. Or if anybody has any questions on an arm lock, come on. Please share them with me. If, how much time do I have? Is it important to keep the arm out? It is, you're always trying to have that straight arm. You want to, if somebody grabs my arm, I want it to be here. You know, it's just like if you hold a dumbbell weight, the further it goes away from you, the less strength you have of that arm. But for me, some people are strong. I can't bring my arm to me. So I have to bring me to my arm to save it. Come here, Capley. All these arm locks, it doesn't matter if it's a punch, if it's a grab, if it's a push, everything is the same. If we're lying on the ground, all the same. Once you understand the principles of the energy is as easy as this. Just put your arm to mine. He pushes me, I go with it. And now, instead of me going with it like this, with my arm, so I could do that to clothesline him, I go with it with my body. If I go with it with my body, I can use the same momentum to pop him in the face. If he's fighting because he wants to hit me or punch me or something, it's going to do again from here. If he's squirreling, goes to roll underneath me, the same thing again. I'm going to come up to take his arm and pop him. So every time he squirrels, you just got to know which way to go and to lock him out here. This is pretty much a standard thing for policing. You just put your leg up here like this. You know, take your cuffs and clamp them down. Take his second hand. You just pull him this way. He'll bring it. They comply. Pain makes people comply. It's really effective tool. Then you hold the arm up. If you wanted to cuff him, you can cuff him. If, let's say he comes to punch, and as he punches, I go to take his arm, but it's bent. He's pulling it back. The energy I have to go with. If I go with the energy from pulling it back, it'll just fall into place. Some people, they'll learn how to go with it. So let's play with this. I come to punch him. He takes my arm, and he pulls this back. And then I come back and say like this. And I say, ha! Knee on the head, pop the arm. It's a nice reversal. Everything that you're doing, there's reversals too. If you understand the energy, it's just a matter of understanding it a bit better than the next guy. So if I come to punch him, and he goes to do an arm lock, and he sees me fighting, and he pulls it back this way. See the energy? See where the energy's going? Instead of me fighting this, I go with that energy, and he tried to go with the energy, but I stop him with my knee between his shoulder blades, and I'll pop his arm again here. It's kind of easy, so everything will fall into place. Now, I can't get, if I'm here and he's trying to, and I'm like this fighting, he can never put me in an arm lock. So when people see stuff as a picture, as a static picture, and go, he couldn't make me do that, they're really missing the point. The point is somebody's fighting energy. You're adapting into that guy's energy and utilizing it against him. If we're in this position down and he's on the mount on top of me, it's no different. The energy comes at me, I shoot to the side, redirect that energy out. You follow me? It's easy for here. If I want to go to an arm bar, I'll just stretch it out and then redirect him back here again and put my, here I'm putting my elbow beside his head to keep his body away from his arm, and then just pull this out. If I wanted to take it with one arm, I take it with, I have an added bonus, a wrist lock at the same time. Most arm locks that you do, anytime he comes to punch, as he comes to punch, and I went with that, I have the wrist always, no matter what he does. If he's fighting it, he goes back. If he's turning with his other hand, I go with that energy, popping it back in. Again, I have a choice of which arm I want to rotate. You always turn somebody over by the wrist. So if I wanted to turn him over this way, he'd turn over this way. If I wanted him to turn over this way, I could just pick him up, pop the arm here, it's done. If I wanted to pop it back in here, it's done. It all depends on where somebody has fight. All the arm locks that you do, here, do a few more and I'll find some mistakes and we'll just add to it. So play with it a bit. Now they got you out there. Fast, yeah. Huh? No. See, those arm locks are bad because he's going to punch you in the face. Okay. See, because he has energy. Watch this. When you come to punch, right. If I do this, actually punch a bit harder, and I do this, your energy is going to shoot out here and want to punch me in the face. Okay. Don't you feel that? Okay, yeah. You come to punch, let's say you want to fight me. You come to punch me, and I do this. As soon as you feel that, that's coming. Right. So you really want to try to stay away from that for here, because the idea is going with somebody's energy. Okay. If I'm going to go inside, let's say you went to punch, and I moved inside because I want to try to do something like this on you, or to come back like this on you. Right. So it's all to the knee. But in doing this, you're already hitting me. Uh-huh. So try to go with that. Is that you're doing a traditional block, right? Think when he comes to punch, whoa, get out of the way. Actually, if he's round punching like this, then you can come in like this. And when you come in like this, come back out like this. So you can try that. That's the idea. No, wait. When you come like this, when you come here, leave this hand here, leave this hand here, leave this hand here, push it into here. Because if you don't push it in, spin around on me. No, the other way where you can. And this elbow hits you in the face. Right. And when he hits you in the face, he steps over here and it goes to throw you. So when you block here, you come around here, stop this here. It stops him from turning around. Okay. It applies the arm bar.
So, does it come? No, you get it.
How you doing, Sabrina?
Okay, so you go If you keep this arm here, as soon as you go to pull back, pull that line.
Okay, we're going to add something here. Something came up, and it's great. It's great when you got people to work with because they're always going to come up with something that we're not covering. So in this situation, what's your name?
Dan.
Dan, what style are you?
Jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu? Who's your instructor? Hey, how you doing? Great seeing you again. Okay, Dan here, he's coming sort of a round punch. So with a round punch, if he's punched straight first, you see I can easily get outside of this. But the round punch, you can't really get outside because it's coming this way. But instead of opposing this energy, I'm going to let that energy go. So when I let it go, I'm going to come like this. I'm covering this. So when I come around here, I'm going to be pushing this into his ribs. We covered this a minute ago, but I'll explain why. Because my people, as soon as you turn them this way, they're going to spin around and elbow you in the head. Come on with the elbow. Boom. And then the elbow will come through. They'll go like this, and they'll go to throw you and stuff. So to try to prevent this from happening, the whole idea is learning sort of the way people move. Learn to stop them from where they're going to move before they get the chance to. So when he comes to punch, and I'm letting this go, the energy punch a bit harder. So I'm letting that energy go. But when I do, I'm lazy right now, but I'm doing this, guarding this like this at this point. Have my arm across his elbow. I straighten out my arm from here. I pull him this way. See how his center of gravity is underneath him? I don't like that. I come back here. And he's done now. He's in a bad, bad place here. You guys got that? Play. No, you let it go. You had it right. You had this right. Leave it here. Keep it here, away from him to stop him from turning around. Then as you push down, pull him out. Yeah, straight through, yeah. Push this into his ribs here. Keeping your arm across his elbow. Step away and pull down. There you go. Now, instead of being like this, where you're here, you would have stepped with this foot here, so you can use your knee on here. Yeah. It'll still work for you. And even if, stay where you are, even if he's here, he's going to come around, right? Because you've lost your opportunity now. But he's going to give you the next arm when he comes around. So when he comes back around, he's going to give you this arm. So here, this goes straight. I push straight into his shoulder. You feel that?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not trying to pop it. I'm just doing it this way. I have this break, pushing on this joint, pushing on this joint, all at the same time. Yeah. See, when he comes to punch, you go, whoa, let it go. Here. I'm out here. I'm going to step out here. Here's not bad because he can step and develop his posture. And when I come out here, he can't step and develop his posture. And I'm pulling him out. Now he's on this arm. Look at it. Nasty. And finish him off. No, here. Pull down, push down, push down, push down. Yeah. But you got to go down with him, though. Otherwise, he'll get up underneath you. So, you know.
We got to play more when I come up to Canada.
Okay, we'll add another one here to the ground. Come here, Mike. Yeah, I'm Mount. Doesn't really matter. If somebody's punching, it's the same thing. You have to go with, instead of fighting it or stopping it, you just got to make sure you move out of the way. So when he comes to punch me, and I move out of the way and extend his weight across him. So if he's punching with body weight down, I can extend it. But if he's not actually putting his body weight into me, I can't extend it. But somebody who wants to hurt you, they're going to be coming down with their body weight. The idea is you're going to move to the side at the same time as you redirect them. So when he comes to punch and I redirect him in this position, I already have this stretched out. Here, this arm is on the back of his arm, and I'm just pushing it out this way and popping his arm this way. I could have moved out, but if I moved out from this leg, it allows him to roll out. So by staying down on his inside leg, he can't roll out, and I can pop his arm. Anytime that he comes to punch, as long as you do the same principle, even if I was here and I went to pull him and he's pulling me back because he knows what I'm doing, I go back with this energy, stepping out from this position, coming here and pulling this out. He wants to save his arm. You can see which way he's pulling it, right? So I'm going to let him pull it out this way and then come back and change back arm from this way again. Now I have my elbow against his head again, and I pop his arm out here. It's done. So as long as you know which way somebody's fighting, you take the same principle, going with that energy, redirecting that energy to work for yourself. Don't get into a fight. Unless you're really strong and the other guy isn't a good technician, then you can always power people out. Okay, carry on again. Play on the ground. One person sitting, one person on the mount. Who's got my time? Oh, you don't know? Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. But you wanted to stretch it out a bit further so he loses his center of gravity. And you want to take it with this hand. It's called counter crossing. No, it's not. This is going to intercept this way. You're going to grab onto that wrist. You're going to keep stretching this out as far as it will go. If you want to push on here, you can push on here right now. Right.
If I stand up like this? Yeah.
So, yeah, that's it. Now, if you would have butted up a bit, arched up a bit, you could come all the way to this arm. Yeah, there. Now you can climb back up and go for the arm again. You lay across this with your body. Body down in here. Yeah, there. You pull you turn them this way, and you pull this elbow like this to your chest, and you pull this like this. Yeah. See the difference? You turn this elbow towards your chest, pull it on your chest, and he goes out.
Pull that away from my body. That's my comment.
Yeah.
I was just there.
Yeah.
Right?
Good. Okay, we'll add to this again a bit. Come here, Capley. Chop. If I come to punch Capley and he's coming to block and take my arm, as he's pulling down, if I fight him, he can always pop my arm. When he pulls me and I go with it with my body, then I can change it again. But I stop him from being able to go with my body. I spread his body away with my one knee, taking my other knee across him. I use my key to pop his elbow. He's going to do a flip for me. But I kept the arm nice and tight because people will flip because they're smart. And they'll know when they're going to be hurt, and they'll try to learn to avoid it. You just got to learn to get one step up above them so you can pop out them again. If, say, I come to punch him, he takes me, but I fight it, and he takes it back this way again, you're like this. I'm going backwards, right? I go with it. Again, I pop his arm. I have control of popping his arm. I can elbow him, finish him off. If I want to take the wrist, I can take the wrist, buckle him around this way, Crank out the shoulder. It's all good. I don't know what he did, so here, if I come to punch him and he's going to do an arm lock, to me it doesn't really matter. I know I'm going back. As long as you know where you're going, you can adjust to it and take him then in another one. When you put somebody in arm lock, you have to know which way they can move out of it. If you know which way they can move out of it, you can adapt them to stop him from, you're always a step ahead of the next guy. So it's really, like, it irks at me sometimes when somebody posts something to a video and says, this don't work. They're basing their knowledge off of pure ignorance. And it's really lovely because they say, in a real world, that would never work. Yeah, everything I'm doing is reality. It's happening spontaneously with somebody who's opposing me. But the guys that are watching the video who aren't in a real world are the first ones to tell you, in a real world, this will not work. But they're coming from an imaginary world, not being part of the interaction that's happening. So it's one of these things, and everybody's going to come across people like this and say, that won't work. Well, it won't work if somebody doesn't know what they're doing. A straight arm lock doesn't work if I'm like this. A bent arm doesn't work if I'm like this. Somebody's going to give you energy. They're going to try to push you away. If, come here, Alan. Alan's a good student of Grandmaster Ron Ballas is there, and they come out to Canada sometimes to train with us, so I know this fellow quite well. If he grabs a hold of me, the same thing. If he's pushing me, he's going to give the straight arm. Then it's going to come back to here again, just like I showed you before. If he's pulling me in, I'm going to come back around this way. And this is popping his arm too, by the way. He can feel that? Yeah. Right. It doesn't really matter. If let's say he's, if he does like a kazushi, if he pulls me one way or the other way, I'm going to go with that energy. I got to watch out that he doesn't dance like this, right? So what I do at that point in time is when he pulls me this way, and I'm in this position, I had to stop him out. Again, don't want to rip my shirt, but here. Right here, we're going to pop his arm this way. Alan's good at moving around and avoiding this. Don't get me wrong. You just got to know how to stop him from where he's going to go to in a position where you can tap him out. Now, most arm locks that I like to mention, if somebody's really big and strong, you're probably not going to have the power to control them. I mean, like WWF wrestling type of people. So the idea here, come here, Mike, is when he comes to punch, you're moving and just popping that with your, as you extend it at the same time, you can pop it, you're dislocating it at the fraction of a second. Because some people will pull back the energy and fight you really good. And some people, I don't want to give you a lot of force this way or a lot, they're kind of smart. They're going to keep a good low stance and they're not giving you anything. Arm locks work, people give you stuff. But if people's not giving you anything, they're not fighting you neither. So if somebody's fighting you, they want to hurt you. If they're fighting you, they don't want to hurt you, then there's an odd reason why you're fighting in the first place. Right? So it doesn't really matter what he does. If he grabs onto me, and we're in this position here, if I know where his energy is, if he's pushing a slight bit on me, and I retract this shoulder and loop this elbow like this, that's taking him back, controlling him by the arm, which is, again, going to allow me to take him back in this position, pop his arm this way. If he adjusted his body, I go against this arm. If I couldn't do that, I'll put my foot through here, in this position. I will pop his arm, extend my legs, and choke him out at the same time, just because he was too smart. So I think, okay, we got 2 minutes. If I'm coming to punch Mike, and he takes my arm and he goes to arm lock me. And I go with the energy. His arm lock doesn't work. Right? And don't mind me, I go to the camera.
There you go.
I'm a showman. So in this position, if I was Mike, I would be elbowing me in the head right now. So if he's coming to me in the head from this position, I'm going to go back again with this position, taking this arm back here, stepping back in this position, taking the arm back out again, extending it out here, tapping him out. So when people say arm locks don't work, it sort of bothers me a bit. That's why I decided to bring this topic up, and I hope that everybody